Hi guys, welcome to some watercolour techniques demonstrations, so you can have some fun and experiment yourself with how to create texture in watercolour, which is one of the hardest things to do because it's very watery. So we're going to start with the one I'm the most excited about. I hope it works in this trial. So I'm just going to put some nice wet, I'm just using a greeny blue. Use other colours, mix in other colours if you like. Keep it wet. That's the problem with watercolours, it does dry up quite quickly. Right, so once you've done that, I'm using this alcohol here, but you can use like nail polish remover, anything like that. Probably hand sand might even work, I don't know. I haven't tried that, but have your own experiments. Oh, that's gone a bit dry now, so I'm just going to wet that through again while I found the alcohol. I've just put it in a little syringy thing, and then just literally put little drops in. The bigger the drops, the more it'll spread out. Like that. But that's the idea. Just creating like these jellyfishy, cell-like structures. The alcohol basically pushes all the paint out of the way, but it's quite cool. Right, so that's the alcohol dropping consistency. And then I'm going to move on to the salt. I'm going to use two different kinds of salt, so you can see the difference. And I'm just going to change the colour up here. So again, just going to there we go. Just mix in a little wash of colour. Whatever you like. And then while it's still very wet, we're just going to add a little bit of salt. So this is like rock salt, so it's bigger ones. And then I'm going to add a little bit of just ordinary table salt as well. And again, this sort of has the effect of pushing away the paint, and it kind of dries in circles around the salt. So you have to wait till that's completely dry, and then you'll just knock the salt off. I'll get rid of some of the salt here. The next one is kind of weird. I didn't think this one was going to work, but it's not bad. It's not as good as the next technique, which is the cling film one that I've shown some people already. So let's pick another colour. Do a sort of purpley. Yeah, I might mix in another colour just to give it some interest. It really doesn't matter about any of the colours. Okay, I'm going to pop this. You don't have to scrunch it up or anything, it just kind of reacts and will form some interesting shapes as it dries, again creating textures almost like rock-like texture, or some of them look like seaweed when I did it in kind of green. God, salt is getting everywhere. The next one is one of my favourites. is cling film. So again, do a very wet wash, mix in. It does suit kind of watery, icy tones. It comes out with an effect like stained glass, so that's the kind of colour palette similar to the one above. I'll stick to there. Go and wet it all down. Right, and I'm going to scrunch up my cling film and place it on top. You can manipulate it, you can see through it, so it's quite nice, but you can see the kind of shapes that are forming underneath, almost like looking at rocks in the sea from above, or ice crystals forming there. So I'll leave that one to dry. And the next one is one which I can have great fun if you've got kids, even better as long as they don't drink it. I've basically mixed water, normal washing up liquid, and a paint colour of your choice. I've done a sort of indigo and a kind of pinky. I've mixed a pink and an orange just to give us quite a strong colour there. It comes out very muted, this one, so the stronger the colour you've got in the bubbles, the better, really. Okay, so I'm going to basically just going to get a straw. This is all my naughty leftover plastic straws, but you can use paper ones, obviously. Okay, so just basically blow the bubbles. And then you're basically just going to try and ease them off onto the paper. This is the hardest bit. And you just get these really cool abstracty patterns on the paper. If you get littler ones, obviously you get littler shapes. There we go. And there you can see how they're forming there, and they'll just pop on their own and come away. Then I'm going to do the contrasting colour here. And again, ease that off onto the paper. It's quite difficult with this small space, but just that contrasting colour hopefully should show up against the blue. And once it's dry, you could always see where there's missing bits and fill them in. Anyway, that's get the idea. So even though that was a really strong colour, you can see it's going to be pretty subtle. There we go. So that's the bubble one. The last one is the lamest, I would say, but it could be useful if you want that kind of texture. So just going to do I'll do an orangey one here. Oops, some of the bubbles have made their way across here. We've already got a texture. Yeah. I'll show you what I mean. Right, so once we've got the wet paint on there, we're going to use rice. And this again, we'll just create, I don't know, a texture if you want close up on a sand or a field or a giraffe's neck, I don't know. But it's all it's drying quite quick. But again, that will take quite a while to dry. Okay, so that's the techniques. I'll give it a few minutes to dry off, and then we will reveal all so you can see how they turn out. Thanks. Right, I've dried it all off now. Still some a little bit wet, but I will peel off the tape so we can get a nicer frame. So the first one is the alcohol one, which I really love that technique. I've already done a few cards already based on it, mixing up colours. Right, let's peel this off. The next one is the salt that we are revealing. And if we scrape these off, you'll see that these kind of like little white, so once it's completely dry, you can just brush off the salt, and it just leaves a very rough texture, which you don't normally get in watercolours. So again, just nice, unusual, abstracty shapes and colours. This next one was the waxed paper, and again it's given a very nice sort of abstract look to it. I should have let it dry a bit longer. The hairdryer blew off the paper, but you get the idea. And then this is the cling film, which I really love that technique. It's very graphic, and if you mix in other colours, make it more dramatic, that's more of a underwatery scene. This one is the bubbles, and you can build that up with different layers once it's dry as well. Some of the bigger bubbles are just forming like the background, and the little ones you can see have made quite a pleasing shape. And the rice, I haven't knocked that off yet. Let's have a look what that texture that gives you. Yeah, so it's just literally just leaving behind the shapes of the rice, giving you an eye again, sort of abstracty feel. Looks like little cells or something. But anyway, so that's some cool techniques for you guys to try out and use in your painting, either on their own or as part of a bigger picture. So enjoy. Thank you.